Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
What's up?
And welcome back to friend of the show, Waleed.
Thanks for having me again. Always good to be here.
Yes, sir. Now we drug Waleed into the Bachelorette franchise. He is one of our resident challenge experts, but we love anyone that's willing to kind of branch out into other shows. And I know Waleed's been an off and on fan of the Bachelor franchise, so it's awesome to have his take on some of this stuff, especially as we start to get into the nitty gritty of the season. We were down to our final four at the end of this, which was pretty crazy, right, guys? We started with 8 and we end up with 4 in this episode. I wasn't expecting that. How about you guys?
Just quick. I mean, I think it's for the best, honestly, moving the show along.
Yeah, just gotta cut the rest of them in half and then just get right to the point now. I mean, again, when you get to the final four, hometown dates, she starts meeting the guys and their families and visiting their hometowns. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you understand it now. It's like getting real for her. So
she knows what she wants.
Exactly.
She well, Brian, you're just so great with the segues for me. So she may know what she wants, but speaking of some people that may not know what they want, we actually have some Bachelor Nation news. 2 big stories this week before we actually dive into this episode. Off the top, one of our co-hosts is in the news. Taisha Adams and Zach Clark. They're dead, as in their relationship. They broke up. They are I'm gonna cut the promo right there for the episode. They're dead.
I like it though.
No, there unfortunately it was confirmed. Now there was some rumors earlier in the week, but by this point in the week we're recording actually a day later than we usually do. They are kaputs. Their relationship and engagement, they were actually engaged, is now officially over. No real statement yet. Unlike the Katie and Blake situation, when they announced their breakup, there was a joint statement. But we did get an update on Katie, and it seems like Katie, there's a whole timeline. We can link it here. I'll link the post in the video below in the description. But long story short, Katie's now dating this guy, John, from her season. But if you go back on her Instagram, and some people have gone back and timelined it out, she's been posting with this dude for a while, saying they're like hanging out as a friendly thing, also with Blake and him around. And as soon as she finishes her 12 days of Taylor Swift posts on Instagram about her exes, she announces today that she's dating John. They have videos of themselves like kissing and walking, holding hands. Blake unfollowed her. So, man, I'm not trying to get really involved too much on these people's personal lives after the show. We really only comment on these people really as almost as really characters on this show. But it seems like some snake move bullshit on her part.
Yeah, I mean, what's the success rate on these couples staying together? It's got to be less than 20, right? 15.
Oh, definitely 100%. Yeah.
Oh, I would be surprised if it's above that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I want to find my person.
If you think about since we started covering the Reality Guys, even back in the other multiverse for season 1, I guess we've had like 4 or 5 seasons that we've covered now. But if you think about it, so last season, Blake and Katie, they're kaputs. Claire and Dale, they're kaputs. Tasha and Zach, they're kaputs. The only person somehow that has a fucking stable relationship is our boy Beardy Matt James. Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell, they didn't end the show together, and Emmanuel Acho was, I feel you, like I want you to find each other, and they did find each other. Like they're chilling. He was on Dancing with the Stars. Like we're talking about a 180. So I guess the formula for The Bachelor is to not end up with someone, and then you have a shot to end up with someone.
Yeah, because you get to actually have a real relationship.
Because you actually get to go on real dates that aren't planned by 7-year-olds.
Yeah, definitely.
Milk cows.
And we also are forgetting about God's gift to earth, which is paradise. And paradise does give some of these people an opportunity. And we'll talk about this later. I had a couple guys, I think, from that were gone this episode that I think will be prime candidates for paradise. But let's get into the actual episode. So like I said, season 18 of The Bachelorette. This is episode 6. We're chugging along here. As I said, we started this episode with 8. Another thing off the top, we're not going to go into a ton of details. There's not a ton of like detail to really discuss about this day. It's more like impressions of the men themselves and some of the things that do go down. Another word they love to throw around on the Bachelorette and the Bachelor, but I've noticed specifically this season is journey.
Oh, oh,
Like this is like Lord of the Rings, and they're like the Fellowship.
oh, I hate it so much. It should be a drinking game because you'd be trashed.
Yeah.
Every time
Vulnerable's another word. How many times you hear vulnerable?
Vulnerable's a good one.
Oh yeah,
vulnerable's
way too many times. I'd be drunk if I had to.
You'd have
And
to
my
get
person.
stomach pumped.
And my person.
Ugh, I hate that even more than journey.
No, nothing for me is, as far as a word. The journey thing is just outrageous because it's like, again, I swear to God, it's like obviously it's produced, but she's not going to say journey that much, and the guys say journey that much. It's definitely like emphasized from the producers. Make sure you're emphasizing the journey.
Basically,
yeah,
like a trilogy here. Michelle and some former students, they kind of kick off the episode. So they're framing this episode again, which they already did this earlier in the season. The second episode was about the teaching and the kids. So I don't know why this is looped back around again, but the whole idea is that these four kids are basically like the hosts of the week, which I did enjoy them hosting more than Tasha and Caitlin.
Yeah, they actually had some opinions.
They had a lot of opinions. They gave advice. They gave physical compliments. They gave compliments on workmanship. There were some good things going on this week. The kids have, like I said, the kids are gonna get to pick the dates. Early on, they get to meet some of the guys. They point out some of the people they like, but more so, they really point out that they don't like Martin.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Twitter was having a good time with that. And there were some really funny tweets and gifs of.
They said he smelled bad.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Too much cologne.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
too much cologne.
You guys wear cologne?
I do.
Yeah. Like often, every day, or only when you go out?
Mostly like every day. When I don't like shower myself in it.
I probably like dinners more so.
I don't wear any cologne.
Really?
I do.
Boom, done. I got a natural musk.
I got a natural musk.
That's a good one.
Some of the other big observations that were brought up during the play date with the children. Clayton has big muscles. And one of the kids says that Olu is like hot chocolate and cookies. It's a pretty good compliment.
Yeah.
I would be. What? I thought he said something. I missed it completely. So based off the first impression, Clayton wins the one-on-one date. She seems kind of surprised. I wouldn't say disappointed, but she's like, "Oh, okay, Clayton, so you were the favorite, okay." And I did like the date that they picked for them, the limo ride with the pizza and the candy. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, I like any of these dates that are relatively believable in real life that you would actually take someone on.
Great.
Museum after hours. That's kind of cool. I'm curious how many exclusives the Minneapolis museum actually has. Probably not one of the hardest hitting art meccas in the world or natural history meccas, but still fun.
Yeah, a lot of mammoths.
A lot of mammoths. Those I can believe they may have actually found them like in the backyard there. Really only the big note I have from there, they run around a little bit. Clayton did show personality. This was like the first time I think you really saw this season that he is more than just like a meathead goober. I know Brian doesn't agree. I know Brian thinks he's still, and I saw his tweet.
Corny. He's so corny.
Well, he is corny. He's from like the Midwest. He's like things from like
he's
Iowa.
Like an action figure. He's like a talking action figure. All he is.
You want to build a fort?
Waleed, what do you think about Clayton?
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. This was definitely one of his better shining moments, I guess. He had a lot more screen time this episode than in previous weeks. But I mean, yeah, you could see he's good with the kids. I mean, I felt like he was genuine with the kids and everything. But then, like later on, you could see that, as the date went on and everything, that Tasha was just not feeling it in that way, that he was eventually like heading towards the friend zone. So I mean, basically the girl, just, you know, her students picked him to go out with her, and she was like, I don't agree with my kids, but you know, basically this is going to happen right now. So
And we have this dude for a whole season, this boring ass Johnny Bravo. Like
Johnny
it's
Bravo.
so bad. Next season might be one of the worst that we'll watch.
So this will be, the first time we're publicly commenting on it, but it is pretty common knowledge now. I don't think this is any big spoilers, but if you don't want to know who the next Bachelor is, skip ahead the next, say, minute and a half or so. It's Clayton. Clayton is the next Bachelor. I'm a little psyched about it because in our preview special, I did pick him to be the Bachelor. So I did get one of the picks right, no matter what, this season. So
pat on the back for that
I
one.
definitely pat on the back.
You called it from the beginning, right?
yeah, I did. I mean, to be fair, I thought he would be more interesting. Definitely, he had the
Me
look.
too. I definitely agree with you. Like I was expecting more from him, but he's just like he has like a couple phrases. That's why he's like an action figure. You pull the string, and he just says like one of his one-liners, and he's done. He's boring.
I think it was the crying that did it for him. And you don't get to see how they interact. I'm sure a lot of who they pick and these people is like how easy or hard they are to even deal with. And he may be like a really easy, great person for all we know to deal with behind the scenes. Hopefully a whole season of him lets us know why they picked him. There's got to be some reason, hopefully, that they picked him.
Better not be because of that damn kid saying he should be the next Bachelor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kid does have an eye for talent. I mean, he did win the Jungle Gym championship in Minneapolis. I heard he's very smart.
I would rather have Andrew S.
Well, they've probably offered it. Listen, guys, when we don't get some of these, and I'm talking even like viewers watching now, I see this complaint a lot, and I've kind of come to this conclusion that we don't get some of these really good people because they're smart, they're smart, and they don't need it. And they got some publicity from the show. They came off looking. Andrew West, honestly, unless he goes to like Paradise, there's nothing. He's not going to be. Look, he has nothing to gain, really. He really doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, you just get more people like us sitting here yapping about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to hear like do accents every episode.
Yeah, it's
just
true.
like be like he had personality, and I guess that would have been better, but whatever.
Well, we do get, so if we, I guess it's got to make sense, everyone. If Clayton is the next Bachelor, he didn't win this season. In fact, she sent him home. He was a little shocked, but he took it pretty well, took it on the chin. We're talking about the next day, though. He did receive 2 notes from the 2 children who really liked him and were kind of like, I can't believe Miss Williams sent you home. We like you. And like Brian said, then that's how you could tell they didn't write it. The one kid mentioned that you should be the next Bachelor. Like, oh,
a producer wrote it like this, like not with like holding a pen. They like had to like make it look like a kid.
They used wingdings.
And of course, Clayton knows how to read wingdings.
He wouldn't know how to read wingdings.
Yeah.
The group date. So is the next thing. So the group date is going to be Rick, Pretty Ricky, Rodney, Nate, Joe, Martin, and Olu, which means that Brandon is going to get the one-on-one date. The group date's at a farm.
Woof.
Yeah, this was a stinker.
I said the same thing. It's just like, what are they doing here?
This is not a week before hometown's group date. This is not. This is a real, and that I would feel slighted if I was some of them guys on that group date, man. That is not the way for you to get to talk to her or do anything. The other part was kind of like running around with the calves and stuff, and
shoveling shit,
milking the cows. Like, yeah, it's just.
She was like, shit. I thank God they didn't pursue this point, but there was a point where she was literally saying, how animals react to you is like really important to me, and it showed the one like calf wouldn't hang out with Nate, and I'm like, oh God, if she makes a comment about how the fucking calf is a good judge of character, I'm gonna turn this episode off. And she didn't go that far, but we were close. We were very close.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: You shovel shit. Your hands probably you had to have touched poop. How are you gonna like hug Michelle? Like, got shit hands. It's just, and then you see when Rodney gets into the wheelbarrow that had shit in it. What is this guy doing?
Yo, Rodney, like we've talked about in our group chat, Rodney is, if you're talking like a basketball analogy, is like a mid-major school who's had to scrap. This is a kid that had to dress up like an apple, go streaking, have to do all these stupid apple pun dates throughout the season. Now he's getting in the shit barrel.
He's the George Mason of this group.
He really is, though.
He literally is the George Mason gunning for the Final Four.
Yeah, and he was my Bachelor pick. And I'm like shocked that he's even. I like him a lot. I'm just shocked he's still in the lead in the game.
Yeah.
Brian's pick of Rodney is like my pick of Clayton, where I picked him to become the Bachelor. And as we found out it was the truth, we were like, "Damn, like really? Like okay, cool." I bet hit, but
he also knows like every single time on these group dates when he's asked to do like something crazy or like whatever, something that's out there for Michelle. Like he'll do it and he'll like be sure to let her know, like, this is for you, Michelle.
Yeah, right. And he's always like the short end of the stick, like, hey, let me jump in the shit barrel. Hey, let me get naked for you. Like give this guy a break.
Oh my god, these guys are pointing at my dick. It's great. Like,
my man's gonna spin off this planet. It's crazy.
They churned butter. That's dumb. The only person that was relatable during this date was actually Nate because his back gave out on him. He couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, because
he's like, I'm 180 pounds, bro.
Low to get that shovel, man. Those shovels weren't really big. He's like, really, lift with your legs.
Yeah,
shut up.
The second part of the group date was the group date dinner, which is a pretty lazy trope, which they do a lot. Nate and Michelle have a really good interaction. They say they're falling for each other. I saw and noted positive interactions with Joe, Pretty Ricky, and Rodney. Who she doesn't have great interactions with is our boy Martin. He has been on a steady downturn in the eyes of, especially of the audience, but more importantly, Michelle. It's never a good sign, guys, where like the first couple lines of anyone in the episode is a contestant talking about how they think the Bachelorette is immature and that he's been very surprised by her decisions of who she gives the roses to. And I mean, very intense criticism where if you look back like 3 or 4 episodes of our own, we were like singing his praises. We liked the guy. We thought he was like a gentleman. Yeah, Brian especially really liked him. So, Brian, how do you feel about Martin's turn?
I mean, I didn't disagree with what he was saying. He said it in the wrong way when he brought up the materialistic thing.
Yeah, that was last week.
It just wasn't a smart move.
High maintenance comment, yeah.
It just, I understand. I don't agree with everything he said. He said it terribly, but just why is he bringing that up? I just like gotta question his judgment there. So I understand why she's been sour on him. Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously looked, and like she said, his body language has seemed like he was less into it the last few weeks. He said he calls Michelle immature for not moving past her traumas, but then immediately when he sees her, says he wants to introduce her to family, says his honesty and bluntness gets him in trouble sometimes. I said, except you're kind of not telling the truth here. So it's a little hard to follow. So Olu kind of white knights it a little bit here, but he doesn't, I guess, in a way I'm all right with, because he doesn't go and complain to the guys about it and try to get a whole crowd up against the dude. He goes to himself, really sacrifices, it turns out, which he doesn't know at the time, it'd be his last bit of time he's going to get with Michelle to let him know word for word what Martin said. And Michelle sits him right down. I wasn't surprised by this. We've had a lot of these types of conversations this season. Eli's a little bit, obviously, what they all do in the beginning. He keeps talking over her, which that really was his downfall.
Yeah.
She couldn't prove that Olu was lying. I don't think she would think Olu would lie. He doesn't, not that kind of dude. But he starts doing that, talking over and getting like the little bit of the smirk, like that little shit-eating grin when she's getting mad at him. You can kind of see it. We all know the look. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's like cocky little grin. And again, I've liked Martin throughout the season. It just seems like some of these guys this season, especially when they're over it, they've just been over it. And they just kind of visibly project that. And I, like you said, Bri, I don't think he's wrong in some of his opinions, or if he doesn't like some of the other guys, etc. I know he was close with Jamie and close with some of the other people that have gotten eliminated. So maybe he thought they should have been around. But also counterpoint, like, why would you want more good guys around? If you think you're good and you want to win, why would you be upset at having shittier dudes around?
Fair.
Right? Like, the better makes you look better, right? You want more George Masons, right?
Yeah. I wish I would have been really nice to see like them go to Miami and meet his family. I would have been very interested to see his posse, like
His crew.
He's like, you got to meet my friends. I was like, I can't wait to meet your friends.
It would have been cool to have like a South Beach date. You know what I mean? Like, what's funny is Joe is from Minneapolis. So like his hometown is going to be in Minneapolis. So we're really only getting 3 other towns as opposed to 4,
Mhm.
Which will be interesting, actually.
Yeah. Martin is a first ballot Bachelor in Paradise.
Martin's 100% one of the
You haven't seen
Paradise.
the last of him.
No, I have Martin listed for Paradise, actually. Nate gets the group date rose. We saw that has gone well for him. So we have our first official Final 4 bracket member, and it's Nate the Great. He's been a front runner since the beginning. He got the first impression rose in episode 1, and he's followed through pretty good. Had that little bit of I wouldn't even say hiccup, but had the Chris S interactions and powered through that. So yeah, good for him. He doesn't have to stress for the rest of this episode. The kids want Brandon and Michelle's one-on-one to be about Michelle's memories. These are very insightful 5th graders. They go to an ice cream. That's a good date. Ice cream cones. All about that. That's cool. They go to her childhood home. So this is now with the second guy that's been to the house.
No, I think she went by herself.
She went by herself the last time.
I think.
I thought she went the last time, and I thought Martin was there, and like, wasn't because there was like, oh, my parents aren't home. This is the second guy that's been in that hot tub.
Really?
Someone else has been in that hot tub. I'm gonna look back. I'm pretty sure there was
about
someone else in that hot tub last week. I will put up in the edit if I'm wrong or not.
Okay.
Conversation goes well. They're making out in the hot tub, and then her parents show up.
And like the way they showed up too. Like, if you know,
Yeah.
like, as soon as they got home, they went right to the backyard. They didn't hang out in the living room for a little bit. It was like they were told, like, okay, when you get home, folks, go right to the backyard. You're gonna have a surprise waiting for you in the hot tub.
Yeah, right. Like there's a guy on the floor filming them, and she's like, Michelle, is that you?
Yeah, it's like oh my god. It was like, I was watching that. I was like, you're not gonna sit down in the living room. Who comes home after a day out and goes right to the backyard?
Where are their bags? Like, where's their stuff?
Yeah, seriously.
Jeep parked on the street. You don't see all like the cameramen and producers, and they're like, Brandon, start kissing your mouth.
All right.
Okay, I will.
Get it. Somehow, I'm not going to hear that whole conversation. Somehow, from the point of them meeting him like this, Brandon in secret asks their permission and blessing to propose to Michelle. Now, I don't think the sentiment in real life is inappropriate. I did that when I got married.
Same.
But not when you just met them when you were in the hot tub and you met that afternoon. Like, you got to put these poor people on the spot, because if they say no, they're going to look like jerks on TV.
Yeah, and also it's only been 20 days.
It's probably not even been that long.
Not even there.
In a week. Hey, can I marry your daughter?
Yeah.
It's been like a long weekend.
Yeah.
So that moves on. Awkward, obviously. I said this is really so fucking awkward.
Mhm.
He professes his love to her. He gets a one-on-one rose. So Brandon is finalist number 2. So this is all still like basically in the first hour we've had. Obviously Martin went home. I mean, if that wasn't, if that we didn't make that very clear,
also back on Martin, like, you're seeing a lot more of like the serious, like, down to business side of Michelle in this episode. Now that we're getting down to the end, the way she sent Martin home, if you noticed, She said all the guys were sitting down. She picked up the rose and she said, "Martin, can we go chat for a little bit?" They step outside. She brings the rose with her.
Savage.
So he had to have been thinking like, she's gonna give me this rose. Like,
oh yeah, he was gonna come marching back.
Yeah,
It's like man arms.
Yeah,
it's all for the viewing.
Oh yeah, definitely. But savage though. Either way, he
So in literally like the first hour of that episode, a little bit over the hour, we had 2 eliminations and 2 roses given out. She was not playing around this week.
Oh no, not at all.
No, she also broke a rule though.
Oh, that's literally the next bullet point.
Yeah.
So after this is gets the 1 over. So that's actually 2 bullet points from now, Brian.
Sorry.
The bullet point before the rules violation is that we're at that awkward phase of the Bachelor or Bachelorette where multiple guys start professing their love for, and the contestant has to navigate either there's like 2 schools of thought. They just avoid it saying the love word, or they just tell all of them that they love them, and that's like how it works. So I always find this to be the most awkward, funny part when there's like 2 to 5 people left, and you have to have multiple people telling them that they're in love with you.
I'm falling for you, and she's like, same.
See how many ways Nate tried to not say love though? It's like, I'm really closely, deeply, widely around, falling, really like, really cool, so close to falling. You love her.
I can't one guy just be like, I'm just playing it by ear.
This has honestly been a really awkward experience being on TV.
Right.
Hey, vulnerability, guys. She's been saying it. They've been showing it.
Like Brian, I said earlier in the episode, Brian is the king of teeing up the segues here.
You just read your mind is what it is.
You're starting to get that synergy. We know where these things are going. If it's your first time watching the Reality Guys, we have some cardinal rules of the Bachelor franchise that we have established over time. And this one, is it not maybe the Michelle Young rule?
It might need to be renamed.
So we used to call this, we may just leave it. I don't even know. We're going to figure that out after this season. Right now, we call it the Matt James rule. The Matt James rule of the Reality Guys for the Bachelor franchises: no canceling the cocktail parties.
No.
The cocktail parties are crucial parts of the episode. That's where we get a lot of the drama. And I don't care if there was already a lot of drama during the week, like during that episode. The cocktail parties are also a place for some guys to make last second pleas for their lives, like Olu and Pretty Ricky didn't even get to talk to her.
It's like a 2-minute drill. Like
it is.
You need to you got to have your best plays. It's like, it is. It's a 2-point conversion. You need to run your best plays at that point. And see what happens. And she's stripping a lot of guys of that opportunity.
This has got to be the 4th time this season, I think, that they've canceled the cocktail party. And I'm pretty sure Matt James only canceled 3 total. The whole
and he
season.
kind of had, and like looking back on it, the reasons I understand. Like one of them was calling somebody like an escort. Like it was like serious stuff. I mean, this one, I guess if she knows what she wants, but the other one's not okay with.
He canceled one when someone quit. You know what I mean? Like things like that make sense. She's just canceling cocktail parties. All willy-nilly. There's bartenders there that need to work. There's been a goddamn pandemic for a while. The servers got hit hard. And how dare you?
She must have absorbed that from when she was on Matt James' season. Like she absorbed his
spirit. There's a ghost. There's a ghost of canceling cocktail parties that's been passed along. So maybe Clayton has it now.
Oh God, he'll be like, I canceled it. I'm sad.
Clayton's gonna cry a lot in his season. It would be like if I was the Bachelor.
I'm gonna hate on that dude so much.
Yeah. Well, Clayton's season of the Bachelor. I mean, I'm sure he'll have, instead of like Tasha and what's her name?
You have Jesse Palmer.
Yeah,
dude's a fucking dork.
Yeah, just bring the kids, bring Michelle's kids, like her students, to like,
they're gonna give out the roses.
They're gonna give out the roses for Clayton. It's like we're not canceling any cocktail party for Clayton here.
Yeah, they'd be like, like this is the last rose, but I have some fake ones for the people who don't get one.
One of the guys should have been like, "Yeah, Michelle, would you cancel goddamn recess for your kids? Cancel my cocktail party? It's bullshit." Well, the only good thing about a canceled cocktail party is that we get a faster route to the rose ceremony. we are running out of roses, boys. Two of the men already are in the final four, Nate and Brandon. So there are 2 roses left for 4 spots. The 4 men remaining are Joe, Rodney, Ricky, and Olu. The following men received roses: Joe and Rodney. Crazy that Rodney made it.
George buzzer beater for George Mason.
Pretty Ricky and Olu both eliminated. I think they had great showings. I think both of them, yeah, I know. See, Moose agrees. I think that they would both be good for Paradise.
I agree there.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna pick Olu. I really did.
I actually thought Rodney. I don't know why.
Really?
I had a feeling.
I just
I was
wasn't.
like, I don't know, because Olu was the only one who never got a one-on-one out of all the guys.
Yeah, that is true.
So
That
I
is-
was like, I was like, that's gonna bite him here in the ass. I was like, Rodney, and then he used that little bit of time with her to, basically
Sacrificed himself.
sacrifice himself from, to get Martin kicked off. But yeah, I mean, I liked Olu, so I mean, I was hoping he might get it and have more of a chance, but I feel like she's had a lot more time in connection with Rodney. I mean, he's
Yeah.
put himself out there though.
Yeah, she's made fun of him, saw his dick. Like, of course she's gonna
Yeah.
take.
I mean, he's done a lot. For that. It's like
He's
it's like,
definitely
hey,
the only person whose dick she's seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe she knows something we don't know.
yeah.
Oh,
He's done a lot.
See
For
what
that.
I see.
Yeah, at that point, she's probably like, I got to give him a rose. I got to meet his family at this point, see where he came from.
Oh, he's earned it, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree.
100% earned it. Like we're all pro Rodney. And
Yeah.
I'd like to say, Brian and I did the preview special. Both of our picks are also in the final 4. So that's pretty good. I picked Joe and you picked.
I picked Leroy, who's out, but like my Bachelor pick is in.
Oh, man,
Oh, you picked. Okay, you picked him to be the close enough.
I'll take it. Hey, you
yeah,
know
I
what?
watched it. I forget who you. I watched it.
I picked Leroy.
And I was like, man, I want to be on here with these guys, Tinder swiping these guys and seeing who's going to be in the final. It's like,
It's my favorite episode, man.
it was a good. Yeah, well, I watched it. I was like,
Just
oh,
men
man.
judging men.
Yeah, basically, it's like, hey, swiping right and swiping left. It's like, hey, he's gonna make it far. Oh, he's gonna make it far. No, he's out in week 2.
If Joe wins, I may literally stop watching the franchise. If I guess the Bachelor
pick
and
again.
the winner, I would just never pick again. Yeah, I'd be retired from the guessing game 100%. I just have a feeling that there's literally a statistical like impossibility of that happening. So I feel like there's a impending doom coming for Joe.
Yeah, I don't feel like Joe's gonna win it though, just because I mean he literally on the farm date this episode, he outshined Nate and all the other guys. Like he, with every task they had to do, the milking the cows, turning the butter, everything, he was doing everything like it was like second nature, and she was impressed by it. But she still ended up giving the group date rose to Nate. So like, I mean.
Yeah,
I thought Joe was gonna get it, but then she ended up giving it to Nate. I was like, okay, all right, she's really into Nate like that.
maybe Joe was always, because she said Joe so quickly on that first rose out of the 2. Maybe she always just knew Joe was gonna get it, and maybe Nate was on the fence and he won that. I guess the group date.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it looks like next week we have hometowns. So usually one man is eliminated because then we go to fantasy suites and into the finale. It looks like it's not going to go all smooth though. It looks like at least one person's parents, and we can't tell.
Yeah,
And it's as everybody. This is actually the first season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette where they said the complete final 4 contestants are all like people of color.
Mhm.
So even in that respect, they try to be funny. Like I couldn't tell whose parents were who. You know what I mean? So that didn't give anything away in the previews. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell like who's, if it was like, oh, there's like one white guy left, you may be able to like tell their parents or something like that. Like I couldn't get any read. You said, Bri, you think that they're talking about Nate.
I just think that Nate. I don't know. I think it's Nate or Brandon is what I think.
You mean the dad who's saying like he's not ready for marriage? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, who's he talking about?
Yeah, who do you guys think? Like that's a good.
I thought he looked like, that the dad looked like Joe. I thought they had the same
I
face.
can say now, I definitely don't think it was Rodney. I don't think Rodney comes from.
No, Rodney's
No.
so nice.
I thought they showed Rodney's dad, him and him talking. At one
Yeah, they
point.
did. You're right. They did. They were like chilling. They were boys. His gonna be like wholesome. Like his like house is gonna be cool. Like they're gonna be like they're gonna be like, I can't believe he's still on the show.
I think that's definitely either Nate's dad or Joe's dad. who
All right,
picks her.
yeah, so I got Nate or Brandon.
It's
Bill?
got to be. I don't. Again, we don't. It's got to be one of those like main three guys that she's really into. I don't think. I'm not even trying to hate on our boy, but like on George Mason here, but I don't think that she would be that upset if she found out he wasn't ready for marriage. They would just be like, okay, well, you're a really great guy, and we move on. But like a Nate or like a Joe or even like Brandon after this week, like all of those could definitely devastate. I'm leaning with Brian, maybe just based off like it seems like Nate is like the leader in the clubhouse, and for her to get that upset, and he was upset too in the preview. So
yeah, because he said his dad was like, "Don't introduce me to anyone." So we'll see.
that's weird. Like, did he live with his dad or were they estranged? Like, I'm curious. I'm gonna be curious to find out that dynamic because that was a very random, specific thing. Like, he told me not to. I don't care about your grades. And I don't care about who you're dating. It's like,
and that's part. And you know what? That's part of the thing. Like, I mean, usually when it comes down to like these late, when you get into the later rounds of like this of this entire show, like the final four, the final three. Usually it ends up coming down to like one of the final two. It's usually like one guy is the safe choice for her. And then the other guy is usually like the wild card, And it seems to me like Nate is trending more towards like wild card status. Whereas like, Rodney and like Brandon, they're more like safe choices, I feel.
Well, I don't know if I agree. Brandon worries me. He seems like a kid to me.
I didn't like Brandon really from the beginning, even in the preview special. We weren't fans of him. She's loved him from like the beginning. Though, so
he's just so smitten by her. It's like puppy dog love. Like
it's like infatuation.
It's a very good point.
Like he worships the ground she walks on. You could tell. Yeah, maybe more Rodney's a safe choice than Brandon. Brandon's just so young. He comes off the youngest. Sometimes I'm like, God, is he like 21? He looks.
You're right, Brian. Now you're saying that like he does come off like a kid compared to her.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I was getting, just based off of just like you not hated him, but you haven't liked him.
I just haven't been on team Brandon from the beginning. But like I said, I don't hate on the guy. I mean, it seems like she's been very much into him, and I've been pretty in agreement with like her judge of character and at least the move she's made. Again, as much of a judge of character, this is a reality show. This isn't a game show for money like Brian says about Survivor, but this is it's still in that same spirit here. They are looking for love, but at the end of the day, like the people and the actions and things you see on these episodes and these things does not speak the whole story. If you were only to have watched Katie Thurston's season and watched what happened with Thomas, you would have been like, oh, that was that scumbag dude that tried to had things and admitted he wanted to be the Bachelor. Well, he came on Paradise last season and they tried that for like one episode. He turned out to be like the nicest guy, and he's dating, like living with the girl that he met on Paradise, Becca, who was an old Bachelorette. So it's like,
she's like America's sweetheart and he's still with her. So like,
he won in the long run. He won that.
Oh, Aaron looks so dumb in that whole hate.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm even talking against Katie. Like, I think Thomas won all those.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Yeah, he probably models and shit. He probably kills it.
Yeah, he's doing fun. Yeah,
but again, like point being is you have to watch. Even when we make our things, that's why we say with some of these people, we want to see them on Paradise. We like to see them in another season, see them in another light where they're not stuck on stupid dates sometimes, or one of 30 guys. And it's kind of. Right. I mean, for better or worse, what you want to say about the Katie Thurston situation with the guy, John, she eliminated him in like the first or second week, like eliminated him with like 8 other guys. And it turned out when they were in real life and hung out at a couple times, they turned out to be super compatible, and so it's just,
also, that was also such a question mark on Katie's season though, because like she liked him from the moment he stepped out of the limo. She really liked him. So everyone's like, why did she send him home so early? What was she thinking? Like, I don't know. In like week 2. So she messed up. She dropped the ball somewhere. So, I mean, it is.
He was like one of those guys where like you said, like she obviously had the good first impression, but when he got eliminated, I can even remember Brian and I being like, was that guy even on that episode? Yeah. Like, was that guy even on the show? Like, it was one of those type of dudes where you never spoke a word on the show, but turned out like
that was my pick, Leroy. Like, never giving him my boy screen time, and it just bugs me.
Fire man's coming.
But hey, you know what? Maybe he'll be with Michelle after the show.
Exactly.
I might win in the end.
Well, like I said, final 4 hometowns. We're gonna get one more Minnesota date. As far as Reality Guys stuff, we appreciate everyone that's been watching. Things are still steadily growing. Like we mentioned in like past episodes, we are expanding the types of reality shows we're covering. So just on the channel, episode 25, this was episode 26. Episode 25 was our first edition of the First Reaction Bros, where we are going to watch the first episode of a random reality TV show. So screenshot some of our live reactions, give you our impressions at the end. Is it worth a second episode or not? So just for example, this first one was Love Never Lies on Netflix. We'll kind of spoil a little bit that we did recommend that you continue to watch it. And episode 27 of the Reality Guys will be episode 2 review of Love Never Lies. We are big fans of the show after the pilot, so stay tuned for that. You also will get Survivor coverage this week and the challenge. Now, with it being Thanksgiving, we have to check to make sure there actually are new episodes on Thursday. There may not be new episodes. There should be a new Survivor episode. It may come up on Friday or Saturday, just because instead of the Thanksgiving holiday, we may get it out a little bit later. And then you will get the rest of season 1 of Love Never Lies. Brian, myself, I know Waleed's going to catch up on it. If Kevin catches up and watches it as well, we'll have the whole gang together. But if not, at least 2 or 3 of us will be reviewing that show. And then next week, we'll be back on a normal schedule, back with our Bachelor, Survivor, Challenge. And like I said, there'll probably be some of those Love Never Lies episodes. And then getting into the new year, we're going to have The Bachelor starring Clayton. I believe, like I said, that starts in January. We'll have another season of Survivor in March. We will have plenty. I'm sure the challenge will already be back because it's never ending. I want to do things like Amazing Race and, any other things. And looks like a lot of First Reaction Bros. So we're going to try a lot of random shows. So if anyone has any suggestions, put them in our DMs, email us, comment on the video. And final piece of housekeeping, stay tuned. Another week or 2, we'll have an announcement on some other content that we will be doing outside of the Reality Guys. So for myself, Brian, Waleed, Kevin, America, Hogwarts, Gryffindor, peace.